Did you know that only 10,000 Ugandan shillings can pay tuition for a student? Uganda Christian University partners with an organization to boost the 10K campaign. That story and more in this week's headlines. Addressing drastic climate change. Increase in criminality prompts awareness campaign. Uganda Christian University reaps massively from the 10K campaign.
And we believe that Ubuntu is going to be a game changer, not only in terms of offering school fees support, but also offering mentorship.
The long-awaited Guild budget was finally released earlier this semester, and in line with the release, we are investigating the Guild's priorities.
About 2 weeks ago, the Student Guild released the 216 million budget that was highly anticipated by the students. In this report, we seek to find out the details and allocations of this budget. We will be speaking to Christine Muheire, who is the Finance Minister of the 25th Guild government.
So about our budget, it's a sensitive section, as you all know, under the Guild government. But about the breakdown, each minister will have to give accountability during the General Assembly, which is going to happen this semester, and they will clearly explain to you how they've been able to utilize the funds they were allocated to.
Despite the delayed release of the budget, the Finance Committee of the Guild government was able to commit itself to monetary projects such as the Guild Fund last semester. We asked Honorable Natasha how the government was able to go about it.
First and foremost, I would like to thank the administration. Through the Dossers office, they managed to be able to release the funds for the Guild Fund last semester, and that was after the Ministry of Education, working hand in hand with various class reps, finding out the beneficiaries, and the committee for the Ministry of Education under the Guild were able to select the beneficiaries who were helped in that matter.
In another interview, we met with the Vice President, Her Excellency Kemikazi Melissa, to find out the Guild government's priorities this semester.
As the Guild, we have quite a number of activities that we have planned out for the student body. However, as some of you or many of you might have noticed, we already had the bazaar. We have an exciting program that we are starting called the FUBL program, which is an acronym to mean the first undergraduate experience in leadership. So this is going to be a training mentorship program for all students that will apply for it. And then we also have the Association Week, that is going to be a chance for societies, associations, clubs, and all other co-curricular, organizations that we have in the university to showcase various projects and to have different things running in order to enable the student body to, know about them. This will be a chance for all these various associations to expose themselves to the students, because as we may know, it's been long overdue for the associations to actually come out and make their presence felt. But as you know, the government is composed of a large number of people, so that is just a tip of the iceberg of the many things actually that we are planning for you. But in the long run, we will be communicating more, as we sit as an entire government in order to plan for a better Uganda Christian University.
The 25th Guild government continues to conceal the details of the Guild budget, but promises to release them at a later date after a cabinet meeting has been made, where accountability will be made at a ministerial level for how much money has been spent. Okuru Timothy, reporting for Media Link News.
Moving on, the community police station, in partnership with the Guild officials, have carried out a security address increasing awareness among the students. Our reporter Pamela Nabire has more on this.
In the light of the increase in theft in and around campus, the Guild government, in partnership with the community police station, has carried out a sensitization drive to increase awareness on security threats. The activity was carried out yesterday, 25th May, with a number of class rounds in various classroom blocks.
Direction of where they are going. They approach this doctor and tell her, we are supposed to deliver this material to this NGO. Sit with them on the same motorcycle, they'll ride to a destination you don't know. they reach a bushing spot where there are no people. They stop and tell you to surrender everything you have.
This is in charge of Uganda Christian University police station. Today I decided to come up with security tips as they may share on different student forums and classroom forums. These tips, I came up with them, reason being of recent, we have been receiving a number of cases from victims, students who have been victims of thefts and robbery, phone snatchings and so on.
We scored the students' reaction to the initiative, and this is what some of them had to say.
We start with being vigilant and knowing our neighbors, the immediate neighbors we have. There are con men that may come and influence them into picking your thing, or they come trying to ask, like they say, help me with your phone, and then before you know it, the guy has disappeared.
So I think what the guild government has done of bringing the police around to engage us and also give us a sort of guideline on how we should look after ourselves at hostel was a very good initiative. It was hands-on and it shows that they do care. That's the first thing, which is very important about our security. And sometimes it's also a wake-up call to inform us that sometimes we may be taking some things for granted.
Most especially on the girls' side, at least it's going to reduce more cases we have been hearing about girls going out and then coming back, some were shot, like sexual harassment, like at least it's going to reduce, and I'm really grateful that the police also got involved. At least it gives more weight to the information in the school.
The emerging security concerns around campus have prompted a sensitization drive to curb impending security cases. Pamela Nabure, Media Link News.
The School of Theology, alongside the Special Needs Constituency, have spent the better part of this week running through their electoral roadmap. Our reporter Joshua Niuhaha has more on this.
After the 25th Guild government at Uganda Christian University forming new constituencies for special needs and School of Divinity, many students expect service delivery from these leaders.
So as theologians, we expect that one would have sent into the Guild government to take our grievances, the students of theology, especially in representing us on our well-being as theologians, because we are the spiritual leaders. We're the spiritual leaders, so at least we need that favor, we need that one to be put into consideration as the spiritual leaders, to be given that favor, like giving us our hostel, like looking into the meals that we are fed on here.
Always what to expect from leaders. We expect leaders to think about people with special needs, to create an environment that supports them, create an environment that they deserve, they really deserve, without any difficulties in their studies, relationships with others and people around.
Elia Ahumuza, the aspiring candidate for the School of Divinity, says that they have been misrepresented for the past years and thanked God for the opportunity.
We have been misrepresented as theologians. So I think this is the time that the Lord has made that we can also have a representative. And this is the very time that I came in to represent theologians. And I think personally, I will work hand in hand with the 25th Guild government, because I'm a reverend in making, I'm a priest in making. I love peace, I love unity, and I will preach peace and unity in the 25th Guild government. Not only in the 25th Guild government, but in the whole university. Advocating for peace, advocating for unity, advocating for togetherness. It is of an advantage that we are also thought about, that we can also have a representative in theologians.
According to Vice Chairperson Electoral Commission, Anna Blessed, says that they are having a smooth operation in these elections.
Submission of applications was running all the way to Saturday at about 5 p.m. and then nominations were running all the way till Monday, 5 p.m. as well. Tuesday we had vetting. Wednesday, which is today, campaigns are on, and campaigns are also
on tomorrow, which is Thursday, and finally voting will be on Friday, and the results will be announced on Friday evening as well.
However, the Ichagua system will be used once again in these by-elections, and it will be more effective, according to the Vice Chairperson, Electoral Commission.
Our mode of voting is online voting, Ichagua, like we have been using, like we used for the general elections last year, and it's definitely effective because it's not the first time that we're using it. However, nominations were physical. What I mean is a form was given out to the candidates who had sent in their applications, and they were asked to get 30 signatures or more from the people within their constituencies. That is, if a person is from School of Theology, they had to come up with 30 signatures and with their registration numbers, access numbers, and we asked them to provide their passbooks as well, the passbooks of those different students in the constituencies. This is because the entire nomination process would take about 2 weeks to, let me say, to mature if we're to use it online like we have in the previous elections. So because of time, we decided to have the nominations physically, but the voting will be online.
This system was introduced last year and used in the previous elections, but by the end of the elections, the Electoral Commission was taken to the Tribunal Court by Jorem Edono, who contested in the previous elections on the post of Guild President. Students at Uganda Christian University are preparing to use the online voting once again. However, questions remain the same: whether this system will be more effective, or we will see other group of people petitioning the Electoral Commission in the Tribunal Court once again. Joshua Niwaha, Cyprian Mutala, Media Link News.
Thank you for that report. Now, in recent months, the ever-changing weather patterns have ignited a conversation around issues pertaining climate change. Dismas Nuaine took a dive into this subject and brings us this report.
There has been a rampant change within the weather patterns in the country. Throughout the country, several actors, majority of whom are farmers, are not just in limbo, but are also in corridors of confusion as they stare at the unprecedented changing weather tides within this our land. The meteorologists as well are looking on shell-shocked, as it's even now more harder than ever to predict weather patterns within the country. I reached out to a climatologist and a Save Soil activist to give me his assessment on the situation.
So these changes can either be good or bad, but of late what we've been seeing is actually catastrophic. We've been seeing very devastating weather events, but you asked an important question: what is causing all this? In the discussion about climate change, there is something they call global warming.
According to National Geographic, a renowned nature think tank, global warming basically refers to the long-term warming of the planet's overall temperature due to the burning of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels include, amongst others, coal, oil, and natural gas, a phenomenon that has been termed as the greenhouse effect. But the question is, what is this greenhouse effect? The greenhouse effect is when the sun's rays penetrate into the atmosphere, but instead of reflecting off the surface and going back into space, the heat of these sun rays is trapped by the greenhouse gases within the atmosphere. These, amongst others, include carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, nitrous oxide, amongst others. This excess heat within the atmosphere causes average global temperatures to rise, and over time, this builds into the phenomena we know as global warming. This situation is further exacerbated with the continued depletion of the ozone layer, and in the process, hotter sun rays come into the Earth's atmosphere through the radiation process and are still captured by the greenhouse gases, a situation which only increases the amount of heat within the Earth's atmosphere, and the same cycle repeats itself over and over again.
All these that we see, the industrialization and the farming, is all to produce for us consumers what to eat. So it is basically driven from the demand side. What we demand is what is being produced, is what is being farmed, and subsequently, that's why we see that forests are being encroached on, wetlands are being encroached on to build industries and to establish farms and those endanger not just the environment, but the entire ecosystem.
So it's this change in weather patterns and climatic conditions around the world that is leaving farmers shocked, not just in Uganda, neither Africa, but the entire spectrum of developing countries, especially amongst those that rely solely on natural elements for their farm work productivity. I visited Chitagata, a small upcountry town within the district of Shema, and it is here that the devastating effects of climate change became ever so vivid. A place which has always been bustling with coffee activity within the month of May looks completely out of the usual life as the coffee season hasn't taken shape. The reason is not because there's no coffee, no, there's sufficient coffee, but then the challenge is there was an extension of the rainy season which was never anticipated for in such a season, as everyone expected to have a sunny season so that the coffee seeds could ripen from the palento trees. And because of the continued ceaseless rainfall, the seeds had to delay in ripening, something that has left some of the farmers completely frustrated. Climate change poses a serious threat to life on Earth in form of widespread flooding and extreme weather.
Including floods, including thunderstorms, hailstorms, all sorts of climate disasters. But
heavy rainfall and flooding have triggered landslides in 3 of Uganda's districts since the 24th of April 2023.
There is definitely hope in reversing this situation of climate change, because it is all caused by human action, meaning all the things that we did before, we need to devise ways of doing them differently. So it takes the efforts of each one of us.
Climate change is clearer now more than ever. It is not something that is coming out of nowhere. It is something that has been instigated by our own activities as humans. We can only hope that the government, through its parastatals, will put in place clear, streamlined policies and structures that will prevent man from destroying himself.
Thank you, Dismas, for that report. Uganda Christian University has entered into a partnership with Ubuntu Leadership Center. The partnership seeks to give a boost to the 10K campaign and move alongside the university in career development and guidance. We have more on this.
UCU signs a partnership with Ubuntu Leadership Center. Ubuntu is a group of individuals who bring in their resources together to help students who are financially unstable.
They came on the basis of helping students, the 10K campaign. That's how we got in touch with them, because we had a number of students that were falling off because of lack of tuition. So they got interested in the 10K campaign, and their key interest was to offset some fees, be a contribution to some of the students that needed help.
The partnership was in connection with the 10K project, which was started last year by Miss Dorothy Tushemereire, and so far a sum of 110 million shillings has been collected.
UCU is a brand. UCU offers holistic education, and not only in academic prowess, but also in Christian values. And we believe that Ubuntu is going to be a game changer, not only in terms of offering school fees support, but also offering mentorship. We'd like to see mindset change. We would like to see young people like you guys getting out of university and adding value to our country.
3 students have been the beneficiaries of this deal: Apili Penina, Namiro Bonita, and George Caleb, who are graduating this year as lawyers from the university. Ubuntu will not only focus on helping students financially, but also offering them mentorship and leadership skills, which is a strong emphasis at Uganda Christian University. Charity James, reporting for Media Link News.
And that brings us to the end of this week's news bulletin. But for news from the field, Namwesi Gwanobo has been elected as the MP for Special Needs, and Namara Betty is now the MP of Theology. I'd like to congratulate you both on your leadership journey. And for all of you out there, don't forget to subscribe to all our social media platforms at UCU Focus TV. From us to you, have a lovely day.
You are watching UCU Focus TV.